So if you do not have any products yet on Etsy, even if you do, I want you to be open-minded here. We're going to talk about your options and how you can combine categories. So these are your options: handmade, vintage, supplies, digital downloads, and print on demand. So we're going to go into all of these really specifically right now. Now, the handmade category, it must be made or have some component of the finished item designed by you. You can use a production partner, but you have to use your own photos and video. You cannot use stock photos, artistic renderings, or photos that are used by other sellers or sites. Okay, that will get you kicked off so fast. You will not last very long using same images that are out on Alibaba. Okay, you need to make sure you're using your own photos if you have handmade items. Now, this category, it scares a lot of people away, but there is so much profit to be had here if you are open-minded. A lot of people think, I can't do handmade. I am not artistic at all. There are two ways around this. Number one is production partners, and number two is altering something in a simple way. And I'm going to be fully transparent. If you have your mind closed off to handmade because you're not artistic, I want to tell you right now, I am not artistic. I've done $1.25 million on Etsy, and I'm not an artist at all. I don't even like to do crafts. But I figured out ways using production partners or altering something in a simple way to do huge sales volume. And the reason why I want to encourage you to be open-minded to this is because there's so much margin in this category when you cut out a middleman and when you don't have to compete on price because of the level of saturation that you often see in the digital download and print on demand. You also do not have to have a house full of inventory. It's your choice. It can be what you make it. There's a lot more flexibility here than people originally think. I'm going to be really transparent here. My margins are over 80%. I have so much room in my margins to where my hourly wage, it can be over $100 an hour on a lot of my items, to be honest. And there's a lot of money to be made here. And you do not have to be an artist. So just stay open-minded and just go with me on this. So production partners, this means someone who has assisted you in producing a finished product. The key is that you have to know this person. You have to be ready to answer the question from Etsy about the design process, the production process, and how you work with your partner. So do not hide this information. It's got to be in the listing that you're using a production partner. Ideally, this is someone who you actually communicate with. They can send you a photo of themselves making your item. You have to prove that you're not buying it from a factory overseas. But there are so many people out there who are crafters or artisans who don't want to do the business side of things. They don't want to be figuring out the pricing. They don't know how to do the marketing. They don't know how to sell something, but they like to make things. There's so many people out there who are willing to be production partners for you, and you're running the business. The key is really finding the people and the resources around you that you can use to leverage as a production partner. Now we're going to talk about the other way that you can do handmade if you are not artistic or if you feel like you do not have a crafty bone in your body. Stay open-minded. We're going to talk about altering something. This is a very simple way to participate in the Etsy handmade category. Personally, as someone who does not identify as an artist, this is one of my favorite, most profitable methods to make money on Etsy. You see high margin, you're able to have competitive advantage. You don't have to be stuck in an oversaturated niche. You are technically the maker here. You do not have a production partner that you have to list. So this is more profitable because you don't have a production partner taking a large cut of your profit. It's really, really easy to test out new products without investing much money in inventory with this way. With production partners, sometimes you have minimums to meet. That can be tricky. That can slow down your sell-through and tie up your cash. With this, it's really easy to test out new products without investing much money in inventory. It's a great, easy, low effort way to offer customization. You can do size, color variation, or add a name, date, or personalization aspect and charge a premium for that option. If you're not crafty or artistic, you might be overwhelmed by the thought of this, but it is so much easier than you might be thinking. So let me explain. You might be thinking, what do you mean alter something? How do I alter something? We are talking about something as simple as going to Hobby Lobby or Michael's or a craft store, browsing the aisles and seeing what types of items are there that look like they're either A, somewhat finished, B, mostly finished. There just has to be some opportunity to add or adjust something on it with your own two hands. You can also do this on AliExpress. I do not recommend Alibaba because in Alibaba, there's a difficult communication barrier, put a lot of requests in, some minimums you have to meet, higher shipping costs. There's just a few more headaches on Alibaba when you're just testing things out. So I recommend AliExpress for testing things out. I'm going to show you how to do this in just a second, but also Amazon. That's an easy one if you want to get things quickly, and that's going to be key in having a low inventory cost to be able to get materials really quickly and order them and get them a day later so you can start production. See if there's any opportunity to make an adjustment to the items. Here are 20 alteration ideas. There's so many more, but this is a starting point. All you need to do is train your mind to think, how can I adjust this in some way? This looks like a finished product. It's almost finished, or maybe it's like a raw piece of wood that definitely needs painting. There can be different levels of how finished it is when you purchase it, but you have to be able to adjust it. So one, you could add a name to it with lettering. This could be felt letters, foam letters, vinyl letters, like stickers, wood letters, or painted lettering if you are able to paint anything, or stencil anything. You could accessorize something with a bow, a ribbon, or a piece of twine. You can buy a bouquet of flowers and add a ribbon to the stems. Buy books and wrap them with twine and tie a nice bow on it. Add a bow or a ribbon to a headband to make it more of a really cute baby headband. Accessorize backpacks with different ribbons or patches or embellishments that you can iron on. You can accessorize something with a trim or type of material. You can add hooks to something or some type of additional hardware like studs or nail heads or cool brackets or different hinges. Add an additional hook or two to something like a shelf that you see to make it like a holder for your house keys. Paint something, you could stain it, or you could add a finishing coat to it like polyurethane. All it takes, literally a can of spray paint, that turns it into a handmade item in terms of what Etsy requires for the handmade category. You can add a heat transfer item to it. There's so many websites that sell heat transfers. You don't need to be a designer. If you just look up heat transfer commercial, you'll see the options. There's tons of them. All you need is an iron. You start with an iron, then a nice heat press that does larger quantities or larger size items. That's like $150. You could glue rhinestones to something, add glitter to something, just embellish it in some way. You could bundle 2 or more items together, place it in a basket, or tie it together with a cute ribbon or twine, and it's a set. I've seen so many shops do this with gifting items. Put some cellophane around it, tie it with a bow, and it fits in the handmade category. That was the idea of like gift baskets. You can add glitter to part of something, add a logo to something, dye the fabric color of something, like tie-dye it. You could package items together as a DIY kit, one of those little wooden things that you can get from Michael's or Hobby Lobby that kids can paint, and then you source paints and then brushes, and you put it together, wrap it up, tie it with a bow, and it's a DIY kit. You can also package things together as a kid's activity kit. So for all those days that your kids are homesick from school, parents kill for that stuff. Things to keep them busy, things to keep them away from the TV. You could package items together as a gift set. So like a welcome teacher gift, a graduation gift, a bridesmaid gift set, a housewarming gift, adding a name or an address or a date to a holiday or a seasonal item. You can literally buy an ornament and then use a cute calligraphy pen or like a paint pen to put a few names on it and a date. That's considered handmade, and it does not take much time or creativity. You can add calligraphy to an item. You might say, I don't know how to do calligraphy. Guys, just watch a YouTube video, okay? You'll get better with practice. But you can add so much value to an item just by adding a name to it or some kind of a personalization, a date, a number. It's so simple, and it's way too easy to make a profit by doing that. You can also put an item inside of another item to make it a complete set of something. Put something into a basket. People literally sell Easter baskets already made on Etsy. Just think of it like that. Putting 2 ready-made, finished, completed pieces together, one inside the other, and selling it as a gift item, that will work. You could also add finishing touches to things like nail heads or trim. It really does not take much work to do that. It could take 2-3 minutes per item just to add some kind of a finishing touch. If you are a little more ambitious, you could learn to embroider. You can get an embroidery machine, add a name or a date or a word onto something. You can charge such a premium for this, and it's really low cost. It's a pretty low barrier to entry. Last, you could add a frame to something. Finding prints, adding a frame to it, putting it all together. If you learn to make a frame, it's really not that difficult to learn how to do some simple thing with your hands to alter something. So now we are going to get into some real life examples, and I'm going to show you how I would take something and alter it as someone who's not an artist to make it something that I could sell on Etsy in the handmade category, have really high margin.